Hi, I'm Michelle Manriquez. And remember, when you don't know what you're doing, drop that brush. I want to help non-artists to become artists because I was not an artist when I started. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. The reason why um, that I named this Drop the Brush is one of my students told me that I was in her head, and when she's just mecking around with her brush and messing up their paper, in her head I say to her, drop that brush. Why do you want to learn watercolor? Please make a comment below. Well, I started as a RN. Never went to galleries, I never drew. It was not my thing. And at 40, I had a major stroke that took out my right side and my ability to speak. And so the speech therapist said to me, she says, nicely, I probably won't be able to speak again. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't think so. I like to talk. But surprisingly enough, it got better. My hand worked better. My speech got better. One of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant about doing this is because I have aphasia, which means sometimes I have to struggle with words or, yeah, you can see that. I struggle with words, and sometimes I say the wrong words. And so, but I've decided I'm not going to get worried about it. It is how it is. Before my stroke, I used to love crocheting and knitting and cross stitch. And magically, here I was with my one hand didn't work, and I couldn't count 1 through 10 or count at all. And I was like, what am I going to do with myself? I could read still. I understood what was going on, even though I couldn't speak. So when I went home, my hand still wasn't quite functioning correctly, but I started playing with oils and acrylics. And so here I am. Well, let me explain. My hand, unless I see it, I don't know where it's at. If I'm doing this or this or this, I have no idea where it's at. I have to physically look at it to know where it's at. So here I am trying to do oils, and I'm trying to do acrylics, and I don't know where my hand's at. So as my hand's flipping around, or I'm thinking, or I'm moving, I've got it in my face, in my hair. This was so a big mess. And I thought, okay, this is not going well. I checked out watercolors. I've always loved watercolors. I thought they were so pretty. And I got into it, and I actually just fell in love with it. It makes me feel joy. It makes me at peace with myself. I want other people to feel how I feel about this. And that's why I'm doing this channel. One thing that happens with watercolor is people want to play with it. Like acrylics and oils, you can make it, you can play and put things over it, and it's just not, it doesn't hurt anything. With watercolor, you can't be as controlled. The more you let watercolor just do its own thing, the better off it is. You will find more and more that if you just simply allow the color to flow and not to fight it, you'll get a much better painting. Well, so here I am. I can't draw at all. But I thought, okay, I have to draw. That's part of this. If I'm an artist, I must have to draw. Well, I tried and still try. And it's not as bad now, 10 years later, but it was really bad at the beginning. Yeah, it was really bad. People will actually come in, and I show people my original drawings when I was trying, and it was so bad. They would actually say, "Oh, it's not that bad," but I know for a fact that they were just thinking to themselves, "I can do better than that. I'm pretty bad." I actually show people this because I want people to know that anybody can do this. There are ways around not being able to draw. And anyone, any person, I believe it, even if you have no talent at all, I believe, because I have no talent, I believe that you can be an artist if they want to. You just have to try. You have to practice. I truly believe there are people that have a God-given talent, but if they never use it, like in show business, there are people who are beautiful, that are have a beautiful physique, but if they didn't put their time in and the practice, they're not good. Whereas somebody who maybe isn't as quite as pretty, some of the ugly actors will actually make better actors because they really worked hard. And they're the ones we love the most. It's just amazing. You know that they had to have worked for this. Because I started into art such a late age and I knew nothing, absolutely nothing, it was like learning a new language. And the way you have to look at things are so different. And that's one of the things that's hard for people learning that aren't coming into this as artists, is that you actually have to learn the language and then see your life in a different way. So I live in St. George, have a husband, chickens, dog. I have grandchildren. My life is pretty normal, and I'm grateful for everything I have. Mostly, you would never know that I'm not quite, I wouldn't say normal, but we'll say a little brain damaged. But, you know, it's okay. Life is how life is, and we can't change it. So I want this opportunity to teach you, to make you feel that you can do this. And sometimes I mess up. And at my classes, I show them and I allow them to see my mess ups because it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, I'm here to have a good time. I really want you to have a good time too. I have picked up some amazing tips. I've actually been mentored by Russell Black in St. George, and I've gone to a lot of classes of famous watercolor artists, and I just keep learning and growing and trying to get better. And that's the one part that I love about watercolor is I can't get bored of it. There's constantly something new to learn. I want you to journey with me into the art world. And it is a journey. It's a place where no matter where you're at, beginning, the middle, advanced, there's always a joy in this. And your goal is to have fun. If you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be doing it. I am really believing that. It shouldn't be you're tearing your hair out. I would rather laugh, have a bad painting, and just giggle about it and let it go. That's how we learn. We don't learn from things that are perfect. The learning process goes when we have a bad painting and we're trying to figure out what we did wrong and how we can make it better. I want you to explore, experiment, enjoy the process, knowing where you're at and not worrying about what anybody else is doing. You're in your own journey, and you can't compare to anybody else. You just can be, here's where I'm at. You need to give yourself patience and practice, a lot of practice. Yeah, and some people are really good, but boy, I practice a lot. And I believe in you. I believe that anybody can be an artist. So we get to go on an art journey together. I'm learning how to do cameras and editing. Um, and I hope you're patient with me. That's kind of the only reason I'm doing it, is for the enjoyment of it. And I miss my students, because right now we're in quarantine and it's not the same. So I'll try to put a video every Sunday with watercolor. It's much better to drop the brush when you don't know what you're doing, because otherwise all you do is make a mess and you won't be happy with what you're doing. You have a good day. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and ring the bell. See you next week. Bye.